Well, last week we left off with these guys. This is the 2004 Olympic Dream Team. 12 of the NBA's best at the time, right? They're all superstars, right? So how'd they do? Not that good, really. They lost 3 games, right? We lost more than that one single Olympics than we did all the other Olympics previously. We only lost 2. Again, there were 12 superstars, or can you say super chickens, working as 12 individual superstars. It was tough to watch. Here you go. This is the 2004 NBA champions. This is the Detroit Pistons. A lot of people can't even name one person on this team, but man, they were brilliant. Not one first-round draft pick amongst them, right? Not one. But they worked as a team. How'd they do? Well, they finished with the best record, 54-28. In the championship, they went up against some superstars, Shaq O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Peyton, Karl Malone in the championship. You know, and it's interesting, Larry Brown was the Dream Team coach also. Difference was, if you ever watched him coach, you don't see him as a leadership. As teams mature, what happens to them is they actually... the leadership role gets shared, right? And Larry Brown had the Detroit Pistons so well coached and so well developed, he didn't have to lead them; they led themselves. So what makes a good team? Certain things. First of all, they have to shared goal or mission. All right, our goal is for the team to win the NBA championship. If you looked at the Dream Team, Kobe Bryant was probably saying, My goal is to make myself look good amongst the whole world, me, right? Not the team goal. It wasn't shared. They trust each other. My goodness, when Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace, man, you could just tell that they trust each other. A lot of times they'd come down with the board and just toss it out to the wingman without even seeing it. He knew he's going to be there. There's this climate of trust. Good teams trust each other. They're open and honest. They don't always say things we like to hear, but they're honest about it. Things we need to hear, right? Things we need to hear. In metrics, you got to keep score. There's how many assists, how many points, how many block shots, right? All things that lead to a successful team. The worst thing I could tell you is get a job where they don't keep score, they don't keep the metrics. It's hard to know if you're doing good, right? Worst day of my life during track practice in high school is when the coach brought out a stopwatch because I knew I was going to get timed. Sense of belonging. The optimum team size is actually about 5 to about 9 people. Turns out that we're hardwired for that. If you look at people, right, our families traditionally are between 5 to 9 people. And we get to know them intimately, right? So I'll be able to go up to somebody in that team and say, hey, how'd your daughter do on that test last night? Because I know them that well. You get more than that, and you start getting into trouble trying to get a team built. 40 is about the most you can know as a community. Anything more than that is just associates, right? And they depend on each other, right? When Ben Wallace pulled down a rebound on Detroit, he would not convert that into points unless he knew that somebody was on the wing to take his pass, right? They depended on each other as a team. Dream Team, they didn't depend on each other. They'd pass the ball to one of the members, I don't know, Allen Iverson, and it was tough. 4 guys would collapse in on Allen Iverson, and what did he do? He took it to the basket, got his ball stripped and ripped from him. And the other guys are just standing around like watching them, right? And you seek input, right? He's like, hey, how'd I do on that? This is where you give yourselves high five when it's good things happen, and you give condolences when some bad things happen. That's the way teams do. They give input, and they tell you why that happened. Some success factors, some more. They communicate expectations, right? We've all been in that group. I'm going to call it group, not team, where they tell us, there, you're a group, do something. We don't know what we're supposed to do, right? We just sit around, flop around. Good teams communicate what's expected of them as a team and also of the individual members. And the logistics, if I were to say, hey, do Six Sigma things or whatever, do lean things without giving you the training and the tools you need for that, you're not going to do Six Sigma things. And if somebody has a concern, you got to answer it, right? Pain in the butt, but every concern, they'll find something that you didn't think of before. And it takes time. Usually a cultural change in a small group, this is less than 9 people, it takes about 6 months to change. Large groups, you expect about 2 years. And don't try to do it all at once. It takes baby steps and integrate different lean and team in baby steps to get to your end. And training, again, you got to know how to do what you're going to do, right? The Detroit Pistons made winning look easy. That's because they trained hard during practice. And checklists, I'm going to put together a link on checklist. It's quite lengthy. It's a podcast, but it's very good. I'm going to say that checklists basically do this is the basis for all team success and getting good results. Good teams are always looking to get better, get improvement, continuous improvement. Consensus, that's not necessarily the majority votes. You make a decision that everybody can live with. It might not be your first choice, but it's one you can live with. And participative leadership, an old colonel always told me, hey, it's easier to pull men into battle than it is to push them. Nothing's more demoralizing than somebody tell you to do something while you go in and drink a beer or play golf or something like that. And you need a champion, somebody that's actually going to sit there and do whatever they can, work for the team with some power and authority, right, to help you. He's the one that champions attitudes. Yeah, he's sitting there coaching, and he's got people skills and ideas. Yeah, I like that idea. Let's try it. The best boss I ever had would tell you a million reasons why your new design wouldn't work. And then he said, go ahead and try it, though. And again, have patience. Success takes time. In factory and office and in those types of environments, you got shared responsibility. The operators, they're the ones in the trenches actually using the system and the tools and everything you've given them. Supervisors, they basically work for the operators. So if an operator says, I can't do these two things at once, supervisor removes that barrier, right? Whatever's holding them back. Mid-level managers, these are the engineers that are designing the system, right? They're the ones that change the system with input from the operators and supervisors. And finally, management, they got the resources, they've got the money. Operators, think automobile here. You're a driver. Prevent system deterioration. You check the oil. You put gas in it. You clean the windshield so it doesn't get worse, right? And you measure that. So you put that dipstick in there and you say, okay, oops, I better put some more oil. Oh, it's burning a quart every couple thousand miles. You measure that deterioration. Same in any environment, any problems, or any factory or organization. You can correct. Well, I better add oil, or report it. Go to your mechanic and say, hey, look, this thing's burning a quart of oil every 2,000 miles. Same in your organization. And if something needs improving, you're participating in it, even if you're just sitting there for moral support. You don't hand off your problem to somebody else and walk away. Supervisors are the next level up. They provide technical support to the operators. They've probably been there, done that. They also train the operators. One of the things we looked at was doing the same work. The same people, or the different people do it the same way, right? The best way to make sure they're doing that is to have one person training. That's the supervisor. And they help with major overhauls and repairs, right? Basically, the supervisor, he owns the operators or works with the operators. He also owns the machines. So therefore, he should be working on the machines. And he also improves their preventive and predictive maintenance, making sure these machines don't break. And he participates in system improvement. How do I make the overall thing look better, right? Mid-level management, they implement the improvement ideas. So you got a great idea, you tell mid-level management, and they make it happen. They help you with the design and improvement solutions, right? They should have some kind of technical skill, right? And speaking of that, they provide the technical and training support. You have a question about how a machine operates, He'll tell you. I do a auto maintenance course for general people, just people off the street. My whole goal is to provide technical training support. Why is non-ethanol gas better? Why do we need to check the oil? That type of thing, right? And you communicate, right? When you know something, you communicate with the operators, and you share that information with other departments, right? So you get a best practices across the board. Finally, we got the top level, the management. These are the people that own the money, right? They communicate the plans, goals, expectations. They got visionary leadership is the way they just express it in Baldrige. Basically, I want to be the biggest, whatever, in the case of Gus Ramirez, mobile hydraulic factory in the world. And he did it in 12 years. He went from not even a player up to owning 80% of the mobile valves. Very visionary. They've got the money, they provide the resource, and they give us attaboys, attagirls, they reward success. Not always with just money, but also a handshake, right? And lead by example. It's great when, I like when my boss gets dirty with me, down there in the trenches with me. You know, don't ask my people to do something I wouldn't do myself. So in conclusion, right, lean factories are simple and visual. Traditional, they're very complex, right? I'm working on a project with another instructor. Oh my. He makes it so complicated. It's very simple. Deliver value, all right? If you deliver value, that's all you need. The simpler, the better. Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. Demand driven, don't make inventory. Forecast driven in the traditional, what if you get your forecast wrong? Well, that's how you get big sales on cars and stuff. Very little inventory in lean, too much inventory in traditional, excessive. Again, focus on the value, reduce non-value added in lean. And traditional, you got a machine that's adding value, you speed it up as fast as you can. Not always the best way to do it. Small lot sizes, I'll do a little demonstration of that in class. Traditionally do batches, right? And lead time, Amazon, the lead time on Amazon is about 20 minutes now before it's shipped. Traditional long lead times, weeks or not months. Quality built in lean. If it's built with quality, you don't need to inspect it. You just know the quality's there. Quality inspection is a non-value added activity. Get rid of it. And you got value stream managers. These people make sure the value is flowing. Traditional is just functional. Oh, I own the machine shop. Not necessarily the best way to do it. You want to own the value and deliver value, not manage machines and people.